Okay, now we're recording. Hello, everybody. I toast to you and all you do. I was making a great video. It was going really well. Talked about my tarragon, about pruning. And apparently at some point while I was recording, I had exited out of the camera. And I was just not recording myself. So, some of this project has already started because I thought that we were recording. And the Zoom is trying to go. Oh, good grief. The plants are pushing buttons. That's because plants also emit an electrical current that can apparently try to zoom in on your camera. I got a pea plant. Oh, see the pea plant? It's right here. It is pushing buttons on the camera. So, as you can see, I'm out in the garden today. I am doing some work and pruning. A lot of my herbs are all ready to be pruned, especially the sages and the oregano and thyme, mint. As I look around, the only thing really not ready to harvest is the lemon balm. It's a little slow starting this year, but it was cold late, so it's just starting to be happy. Anyway, so today I'm out here collecting my meadow sage, and meadow sage is the one that you see. You can see it right here behind me with these pink flowers. This one is a pink variety. I also have a purple variety. It can come in a blue, red. I've even seen white recently. So it comes in lots of different colors, but you see it in a lot of ornamental gardens. It makes these really pretty flowering bushes. It stays in a small hedge bush. They are a woody perennial, so they do get a woody stem, kind of, little bit. Not like a kitchen sage or white sage or any of my other sages. It is different. So, a couple things to talk about with this plant. One, because it's really easy to grow, I highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for like a more prettier garden with lots of flowers. It very much attracts pollinators, so I grow it on the border of my garden to kind of like beckon the pollinators this way. It really helps. As you even watch now, you can see there are bees coming in. Got a bunch of big true bumblebees, which are always fun to see, and of course, like that honeybee that just flew by. They are big pollinator attractors, and unlike other woody perennials, they will rebloom if you deadhead them. So you need to come out and deadhead them and cut them back. They'll grow new shoots. As you can see, this one's already starting to grow new stems at the bottom because the flowers are starting to be spent. This one is really pretty. As you can see, let's see. Oh, here we go. As you focus, as you can see, even the seed pods, after they lose their flowers, are still pretty. They retain that purple color. The seed pod is purple also, so they are very pretty. The way that I'm collecting them is we're making little bundles, which I'll hang like this and dry. They'll keep this really pretty look to them even after they're dried. And then I can choose what to do with them. I'm probably going to use them to make an infused oil, and then we'll use that to make soaps. It's great for shampoos because it gives your hair a really shiny, nice appearance. They are also, I could take the leaves and make a poultice that's great for healing wounds. Just like all of the sages, it is antibacterial and antimicrobial, and it has all of these great phytochemicals in there that make it great for wound healing and getting rid of ailment. The teas are used to treat ulcers, just all kinds of different good stuff healing wise. And then as it being a great attractor, it attracts, even magically, it's great for attracting, love, abundance, a new job, all of those kind of things. So in an anointing oil, it can be used for candle magic like that. So let's talk a little bit more about the plant. I'm going to drink my coffee before it gets totally cold and gross. I already have one gnat in there. It's all right. Low protein. Pretty sure I said the other day I don't want to eat bugs, but sometimes in my coffee it's okay. All right, let's see if I can do this without messing up the recording. I'm so sad that whole video. As you can see, I've already started clipping this plant, and I'm not being super finicky about where I cut the plant. It's not... Are we recording still? Okay, sorry. Extreme facial close-up. So, as you can see, I've already started clipping. I'm not being real picky about it. You can be more meticulous, and you go through and you would cut it right here. Hopefully you can see that. You would cut it right here above the nodes where the leaf comes out, and then it'll grow new branches there, and you'll just get 2 branches. So actually, after you crop them, you'll have a bloom twice as big, because each one of these will send out 2 new shoots, and which will then get their new flowers, which often come in these branches of 3, and make a ton of flowers. I mean, like I said, as we just sit here, it's attracting so many pollinators. So I'm using a cotton twine, like, I don't know, it's like t-shirt material almost. So we're just going to take a clump of the plant. Hopefully when I watch this, it shows what I'm doing. Anyways, you take a clump of the plant. You're going to very simply just tie, oh, that's a piece, not all right, let's try this again. You're going to take it, and like I said, I'm not being too finicky about it. I'm just cutting it back. It's going to send out new shoots all over, and it'll be happy, healthy sage. To protect it, always make sure that you leave at least 1/3 of the plant behind. So I'll show you over here. You can see the one I already cropped back, and I mean, it looks really butchered, but soon it will have all new flowers on it and be beautifully blooming. But I left about 1/3 of the plant there so that it can still get the chemical, you know, the sun and the photosynthesis and all that great stuff that it needs. So we have tied a knot. I'm going to cut that off. I do have a longer piece of string so that I can attach it to a stick to dry. You can use a hanger, works really well. Whatever you have to dry your herbs. And then I have this beautiful bouquet that I can then dry and use for whatever my purpose is. Now, if you're making a tincture out of these, then being attacked by the tarragon. If you're making a tincture, you would just use it dry. So you would take these plants, woodbine everywhere. You take these plants straight inside. Well, I would wash them, and then I would take them inside and put them straight into 100 proof vodka or other alcohol if you prefer to use something different. I like using a clear vodka. 100 proof works really well, and when you're using that 100 proof vodka, you don't need to worry about diluting it later because it's a safe, consumable amount. When you're using like Everclear, you end up having to dilute it later because it can be dangerous to just consume. They also work great as like sprays. We make a sage tincture with our common sage, and it works for people who cannot burn smudge sticks or sage bundles in their home. So again, we're just going to clip this and cut it. Oh, this one is not. Oh, it is. Okay. And we'll just keep going through the whole plant like that until it is down to the bottom. And I'll have all of these pretty things. So a couple other things about sage is this variety is super hardy. So it's good all the way down to zone 3, which makes it great here in Colorado because it will tolerate our very dry winters. Most of your herbs, the problem that you're going to have in Colorado or other cold areas is not that it gets super cold, but that it gets too dry. So you got to come out and water them, like your lavenders. Got to give them a little water in February. So, it prefers full sun, but it will tolerate some shade. It'll be kind of sad, though, if it's in full shade. So this one is more of a sunny garden. Doesn't need a lot of water. Doesn't need a lot of attention. You just got to come out and crop it back every once in a while so that it can get new blooms and attract new bees. Look at, here comes a big honeybee. And as you can see, I am leaving some foliage down here, some leaves, so that it can make, still feed itself. But I don't know if you can really see that. As you look down here, you can see that there's a lot of dead leaves because it's not getting enough sun down here. So you can pull these out. I'll go through and pull out any dead sticks. It does get woody if you leave it long enough, but it's not like the other sages where they get woody and then grow off of that woody growth. Next year, come winter time, this will die back all the way and go to the ground like it doesn't even exist. And then it will come back the next year fresh. It's just a low growing hedge bush, I guess is what you could call it. So again, they work great on the edge of your garden. Let's see, historically it was used for like a sore throat mouthwash, like I said, a poultice, to get rid of infections. It is not as strong smelling, so if you do make sage bundles out of it, they're going to be like a lighter sage, not so strong, potent, I don't know. It still smells like sage. One more bundle. And I know some people are like, oh, but you're getting rid of all of your flowers for pollinating. But I have other plants that are now in flower and that will soon be in flower that can feed the pollinators. And, you know, sometimes as a gardener, we forget, especially in our witchy gardens, that plants are designed to be eaten and cut back and stepped on, and all of that stuff is part of their living cycle, part of their process. And if we don't do that to them, they become really overgrown. Like this ridiculous tarragon behind me. I know I've talked about my tarragon before, is that this is a Russian tarragon and it doesn't have any flavor. It does have some smell, like it's got a little bit of that tarragon smell. I'm sitting on some of it. It's like 6 foot tall. It's crazy. And it's breaking because it's so tall. So I came through and pulled a bunch out of there. Get out of here. But because I haven't cropped it back yet, it is too big for its britches. And it needs to be cut back. They are designed to be eaten and cut and used, not just sitting in the garden. If you check out my other videos, even the irises, which are more of an ornamental plant, you still need to go out and take care of them and love them. So let's see. Like other sages, you can use it. Look how pretty they are. Like other sages, you can use it for cleansing. Gets a lot more flowers. You can use them to make purple dye. In the infused oil, it will make a little bit of purple color, more like a brown, darker oil. And it has this magnetic ability to bring in positive energy. So it's very much of an attracting herb. So it's great for love spells, for bringing prosperity, attraction, a new job, anything like that. And all of the same things that you would use any other sage for. So it's pretty universal. It's really easy to take care of. As you can see, cut it way back. Way back. Oh, we left a little flower. We'll leave that. We got a couple flowers laying down over here. But it's already growing. See, like here we have a whole new branch, which is going to be a bunch of flowers. And this is a perfect time to cut it back. So now it'll put the energy into these little branches. See, it's sending out little branches here, all over the place. Pull off this dead stuff. Let it have its thing. It'll be happy. Here in a couple days, it might even have flowers on it. So don't be scared to cut back your herbs. It is an important part of their process. Now I'm going to head and cut back some more stuff. I'm going to do the same thing to my common sage. We'll look at it real quick. Let me put my shoes back on. So I'm going to do the same thing with my common sage and make smudge sticks out of those, because I'm almost out of smudge sticks. But you can see this is also going into flower. It has bigger flowers and not as many. And it will make new flowers, but I just typically don't collect the flowers off of here. I just let them be. They're so pretty. But I will come through here and cut back a bunch of this growth. And just like I did with that other sage, I'm going to come back here. I'm going to clip it. Then I'll take it, because this one has more low leaves. You can see they're kind of dirty. So I'll hose it off real quick. Let it dry in the sun for a minute. Oh, big grasshopper, get out of here. And let it sit for a day, and then we will roll it into smudge sticks. And it's important to get the weeds out before you start rolling smudge sticks. And so we'll start rolling those before the sage is dry. You want to get a little bit of drying time so it's already wilted and it doesn't have as much water in it, so when you get your wrap, it's a nice tight bundle. And then we'll have that. So I'll do this sage, my golden sage, and my broadleaf sage today. Oh, since we're just on a sage kick. Oh, you can see my Russian sage behind me, which I feel like it needs a different name because it's in the Artemis family, so it's more closely related to like mugwort, and it has a different chemical makeup. So like after you process a bunch of it, it has the menthol qualities in there that make your fingers kind of tingly like a camphor does. Whereas the sage doesn't really have that, like this common sage or the white sage or these other two sages I'm going to show you real quick. So it's definitely a different plant, and it is ridiculously easy to grow, and it just makes big bush. You can see I literally came through and ripped the branches back, and you can see right here is evidence of my ripping branches back. So you can see I just broke it. It was like right here, and it, even out of where I split it, is growing new branches. It's thick and it's happy, and it has the most potent smell, and it'll make really pretty purple flowers soon. It's a happy plant. I'm not gonna lie, it smells like a goat barn to me. It's not a let me get a big whiff of this plant. So I have my broadleaf sage, so it's got these bigger leaves on it, and we'll do the same thing. I'll just come back and trim this back and pull some leaves off of it. And hiding underneath my grape plant is my golden sage, which has this lovely color. Let me get out of the sunlight so you can see it. See, it has this beautiful color to it, and it doesn't get much taller than this. So it just stays really short and little. It also comes back every year. Both of these do. Not all of the sages are hardy to like where I'm in a zone 4. So the purple sage, the white sage, some of those varieties of sage will not live through the winter. The Mexican sage, the red one, if you cover it, it will come back. You just need to give it a little more care. So the white sage, though, unfortunately here in Colorado, it won't survive. It needs that California sun, I guess. I've tried 4 years in a row. This is the first year I haven't tried. I've tried all other 4 years, and it just never works out. So there are my ticks. No ticks here this year yet. There are my tricks and tips for cutting back your sage and growing your sage, especially the meadow sage specifically. I hope everybody is enjoying their time in the sun in their garden. And if you have any questions, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I really appreciate you all staying here. Now I smell like Russian sage. It's really... magically, it's great. It's got all of these great principles. It does great in our soaps. It adds this amazing smell to the soap that does not smell like a goat barn. But just like as a plant, I'm just not a fan. So I'm going to cut some fresh sage so that I get rid of that smell. And I will talk to you all soon. I hope you have a blessed day.